Hey guys, Spinstar here, and welcome to the video series where I show you what 1 year on my family's farm would look like. So, if you're just joining us, you might want to watch my past videos, especially my most recent video, where we got a new planter, and thanks to Performance Ag for letting us get such great footage of the planter. So, today's video is going to be split into two parts. The first part is going to be how the planter works, and the second part is going to be just the planter in action. So this video is part one, and we need to see how the seed gets from the bag to the ground. Let's go. Guys, so we're here on a cold May morning, and today my dad is going to show us how the planter works. Take it away, Dad.
Okay, so the planter, the modern planter, is a pretty amazing machine on how it takes a seed that comes from a bag or a box and can get it into the ground with perfect placement. So I want to tell you a little bit about how that works. So each one of these rows, which are 30 inches apart, has got to be ready to plant precisely and have its seed ready at all times. So the way we get, the first thing that we need to do is get the seed from these big tanks, our bulk tanks, to each of these rows, and we do that with air. So we have a pneumatic system that blows seed through a series of tubes to the individual rows. So that's what you can see, these tubes, and if you look, you'll see a bundle of those. So I've got a tube coming to each one of these rows. It's going to blow the corn down to this row, and let's take a peek at what that might look like. So this is approximately how much seed we're going to have in each one of these individual rows at all the times. And so as it plants, it'll send more seed down there. So at that point, we have our seed supply down to the row, and we have to start figuring out how are we going to place that into the ground. So here's where all the action really starts. So this is called a seed unit meter, and I want to point your attention to a couple of different things. One, down here we have a little electric motor. So each row has its own electric motor, and that's going to rotate a disc that I'm going to show you in a moment. And then also I want to point out this hole here. So there's another tube coming from the bottom of this, and it's a vacuum. So we used air to blow seed to the unit, and now we're going to use air, suck out the air to create a vacuum in this area that I'm about to show you. So here's the key part of the planting process. This is our seed disc. You'll notice it's got holes all the way around. So, and I mentioned here that we're sucking air out of this hole. So we're going to create a vacuum in here that's going to suck a piece of corn to each one of these holes. And this disc is going to have this motor rotating it. And then as you put it back together, you'll notice that we have a section of this circle that it's not sealed. So this is going to become the area where the vacuum is broken and a seed's going to drop from here. That circle is going to come around, has a seed attached to it. The vacuum breaks, the seed is released. So let's go back to our unit over here. Now we've got to get it to the seed from that exit point to the ground, and this is how we would do that. So this is called a seed tube, and this goes from where our unit's sitting here, it goes down to the ground. So let's pull it out. You'll see that it's the right length. It's got some moving parts up here, but you can't see it. It's under the shield. So we've got one broken apart here on the end gate. I like to think of this as a little corn elevator. So we've got a spinning unit. Again, it has a little electric motor that's going to move this belt, and it gives the seed corn a ride. I've placed some individual seeds in here, and you can see they're just going to take a ride down, and eventually they're going to come down to the end, and you can see the point at which they're going to exit and fall out. Only in our situation, they'd be being planted into the ground. This electric motor is linked to our GPS system in the tractor, so it knows exactly how fast the tractor is moving, and it is perfectly timed so that it is discharging the seed at exactly the same rate as the speed of the tractor. There's a really good episode of the show Mythbusters where they demonstrate that if you were to put a cannon of sorts and launch a soccer ball out of the back of a moving truck, if you could launch that projectile at exactly the same speed as the truck is moving, it'll just come out and go straight down on the ground because of the speeds are the same. Well, that's the same thing that we do here. If we can discharge that seed at exactly the same speed that the tractor's moving, it'll go straight down and stick the landing and stay right where we want it to be. It won't roll around in that trench. So that's what we're trying to do, is get perfect placement, put it right in the ground, not have it move, and we want them to be perfectly timed so that they're approximately 6 inches apart, boom, 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 and they're not too close together to where they compete with each other, but they're not so far apart that we're not utilizing the maximum ability of the soil to support as many seeds as possible. So that's the gist of how a planter works, and now let's go see it in action. So here we are, we're out in the field, we're in the tractor, the cockpit, I guess you could say, of my planter setup. So I just thought I would give everybody a view of the different screens and controls that I have. It's really a high-tech situation now. It's a lot different than it used to be even when I started farming, which has been a while now, but it's not that far into the past. So Spence, if you'll follow me around here, I can explain some of these things here. So this screen right here is showing my AB line is what we call it. If you'll notice, my hands aren't on the steering wheel. I don't know if you can tell that before. The tractor is steering itself. It's on autopilot. And this is the control for that autopilot. It is linked to a satellite orbiting the Earth, and it is telling the tractor where it is on the surface of the Earth, and it is steering the tractor down that line that I have on the screen. So that's my guidance system. Up here it gives us the information about our speed, what gear we're in, sort of the tractor information, if you will, RPMs, that sort of information. Then we come over here. This is the screen that's monitoring all of my hydraulic functions. So we have hydraulic controls for all of the planter operations, and they're represented by these yellow bars, and so that I can watch and make sure that's all operating correctly. Over here on the right, the far right, is all of my controls for the planter itself. This is an iPad that's tied into the planter system, and with it I can see sort of a high-level view. You can even see the picture of the tractor on the screen. It's as though we're in a plane looking down on the field. You'll see there's different colors on this screen. That represents different areas in the field that I plant different seeding populations. So on this screen, the green areas, I'm planting more seeds per acre than on the yellow or the orange areas. And we vary that by the difference in the soil, different soil types. Spencer, if you take a view of the field up in front of us, you can notice how there's different colors in the soil up ahead of us. The darker the soil, the better the soil, the more plants it can support. So we'll have that higher population there. Those lighter soil areas will plant less seeds per acre. This box over here controls my folding mechanisms for my planter. It controls all of the mechanical parts on the planter itself. You know, when I'm going to move from transport position to the planting position, all of that sort of control is up here. And this is my main planter monitor. This is telling me about the performance of the planter, getting the seeds from the container boxes on the planter down to the ground. So right now it's telling me that I'm getting almost perfect placement. I'm getting 99.8% of the seeds where I want them. It's telling me about the downforce. So we want every seed to be at the same depth going across the field. So I can set the depth, and then we press the planter down into the ground to make sure every seed's down to that level. That's telling me I'm getting 100% good contact on that. I can press some buttons here, and it's telling me about fertilizer, how much fertilizer I'm doing. Look at the other one, yeah. I have 2 fertilizers that I'm putting on. Both of them look good. So I have a lot of information here at my fingertips, and we're at the end of the field, so it's time to turn.
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell so you can see when part 2 comes out, and we will describe what it's like to refill and get the planter ready to go in that video. See you later guys.